What's up, people? Thank you as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. All right, so I've just done the video for Chisora versus Whyte. So this is more now about what next for Dillian Whyte. We know the fight he wants. We saw it on the mic after the fight. He called out the lanky, skinny Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua annoyed me there. He annoyed me. You're the heavyweight champion of the world, which yesteryear meant you were the baddest man on the planet. It doesn't necessarily anymore, I don't think, but there was a time gone by where the heavyweight champion was the baddest man on the planet. A guy that you knocked out clean cold has just called you out on the mic and called you a lanky, skinny so-and-so, and has then begun to almost belittle you in front of the world, in front of 20,000 people at the O2, and in front of, I don't know, let's just have a guess and say 800,000 people buying the pay-per-view and probably another million streaming it. He just belittled you and then walked out. You're supposed to be the baddest man on the planet. That's what the heavyweight champion meant when I was a young kid. Can you start firing back, please? Can you start, look, I get it, MBE, OBE, you need to say nice things now, you need to be nice and cool. No. Someone does that to you as heavyweight champion of the world. Can you get in the ring, go face to face, push him like you did to Jarrell Miller, go nose to nose and say something? This is the guy you knocked out 4 years ago who's basically just mugged you off in front of the world media and fans. And it doesn't sit well with me at all. It's funny because there's a guy that follows me on Twitter. I want to get his name correct. I think it's Yoruba Black Coffee. And he said, and I'm going to make a t-shirt on this, so I'm going to steal his idea. Hashtag bring back Femi, which I love, because we know when Anthony Joshua was a young kid getting into all that trouble, being a so-called bad man in Watford, he was called Femi. Anthony didn't even appear in his name. We need to bring back Femi, because Anthony, for me, is just, he's far too nice. And I feel like a lot of these heavyweights are mugging him because he's far too nice. Jarrell Miller mugged him. We saw that at the DAZN kind of opening press conference, mugged him completely. And now we've got Dillian Whyte mugging him in front of the world's media. I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, so let's go back to the fight. A lot of people say that Dillian Whyte now deserves Anthony Joshua fight. I've seen a lot of tweets and people saying, like, you know what, potentially fighter of the year, which he isn't for me, and we'll do a video about fighter of the year later. But good year nonetheless. Lucas Brown, Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, two of them box office. So look, he's raising his profile, and not only raising his profile, but he's getting good wins while raising his profile. The Joseph Parker fight was a good one, and Derek Chisora was a good one as well. Both of them would have done good numbers. So he's cashing those checks, he's raising his profile, and ultimately he's saying that he wants one of the top three. So he's not just saying he wants Anthony Joshua. Obviously Anthony Joshua was ringside, but Matchroom kind of do this behind the scenes boxing meetings, and he said, look, I want any of the top three. I don't have a preference. I want Wilder, Fury, or Joshua. Obviously the easiest one to make, no doubt, is Joshua, right? That's an easiest one. It's a stable mate. Eddie Hearn looks after both parties. But really and truly, this comes down to Anthony Joshua. And more importantly, it comes down to the fans. Anthony Joshua got on the mic yesterday and said, look, what do the fans want? Because he doesn't want the stick. And I think he realizes that he's getting a lot of stick now. If it isn't Wilder or Fury, we know that people are going to rain down on him. So he's saying, look, I'll happily fight you, but is that what the fans want? And if the fans want it, then I think it's a fight that's going to be made next. Again, there's this big Wembley thing going around. And look, I don't think he can move the Wembley date. Obviously, he's signed, he's secured, it's a contract. So they're going to have to fight at Wembley. The question is, does it do Wembley Stadium? Does Joshua versus Whyte do Wembley Stadium? Do enough of the casual fans that follow boxing, and it is the casual fans that are going to buy the tickets for this, do enough of the casual fans that follow boxing want to see Joshua versus Whyte? Are 90,000 people, or 80, or even 75,000 people going to buy the tickets for Joshua versus Whyte? Probably. What, 70 to 80,000 bought for Joshua versus Povetkin, so I don't see why they don't buy for Whyte as well. And let's be honest, even in the Povetkin fight, all those tickets are Joshua. So if 70 to 80,000 people can buy it just based on Joshua, then I think another 10,000 will do it just based on the fact that Joshua is fighting Whyte. They will sell the fight. It will be an easy sell, to be honest. Whyte and Joshua don't like each other. It's not like Chisora and Whyte, but it's close. They don't like each other. And I think it's the only fight that's probably going to happen. I really do. Jarrell Miller might have a say in this. He's been doing the rounds on things like Soccer AM. He might have a say and try and push for Joshua to fight him and scrap the Wembley date and fight him at MSG. I done a video about this a couple of weeks ago saying that's the fight I think that makes sense if Joshua doesn't get a live opponent for April. But is Dillian Whyte a live opponent? You know, the problem is it's the Wilder Fury thing. Because based on what Dillian Whyte's done in the last couple of years It's not a bad name. It's not a bad opponent. I think Joshua tried to say this. Joshua tried to say, look, scrap what happened 4 years ago between us. Just based on your CV after that, maybe you do deserve the fight. And I like what Joshua did there. White obviously wasn't listening to that part. He was still, adrenaline was still pumping after the fight. It's a guy he wants to fight. It's a massive payday. If he's been getting 5 million for his last fights, Joshua's comfortably double that. So it's a massive payday, and it's a chance to win nearly all the belts -1. So he's got the chance to do as much as he can in boxing by fighting Joshua. And it's a rematch he wants to happen. If someone knocks you out, you do want to retaliate and get a chance to knock him out. So it's a fight that makes sense for Whyte. It's just not a fight that makes sense for Joshua. And that's a problem. Eddie Hearn in these next 2 or 3 months really needs to show why people think he is the best boxing promoter out there. I'm not sure if he is, but that's what people think he is. And he really needs to secure Wilder versus Joshua. If he doesn't, and these might be strong words, I think he's failing Joshua as a promoter. I really do. People might say, yeah, but he's made Joshua the richest boxer. We get all that. I understand all that. That's kind of both of them, if I'm honest with you. Right now, we all want to see Wilder versus Joshua. We'll park Fury for a while. We want to see Wilder versus Joshua. Eddie Hearn has got to do everything in his power to make that fight. Everything. If not, we are going to get Whyte versus Joshua, which, look, isn't a bad fight. I think Whyte's improved a lot. I think he's more composed. We saw that against Derek Chisora. But that's Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora isn't no Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, I think, would run through Dillian Whyte. I really do think that. But nonetheless, I think it's a fight that kind of makes sense. But personally, for me, I don't know why, but I still want to see Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte. I really do. I think Ortiz is a fantastic boxer. I get so much stick for this. So much. People say, oh, but look at him against Dave Allen and Malik Scott. I don't care. I think he's a fantastic boxer, and I think he's the kind of boxer that rises to who he fights. I think we saw that in the Deontay Wilder fight. Again, I know I repeat myself, but he was that close to getting Deontay Wilder out of there. So I want to see Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte, but I don't think Dillian Whyte wants to see Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte. So it looks like it's going to be Joshua in April. What do you guys make of it? Is it a fight that you would, honestly, jokes aside, but is it a fight that you would either go to or pay? Not stream, you legal motherfuckers, but go to and pay. Let me know. Peace.